The director, again, turned to Harry and went, what I love most about this show is that it's all in their heads. And we were like, What?
Really want to be in the
You're
room.
spending all this money on extras, stunt coordinators, and you're filming it like in out of focus in the background.
Filming a guy who's lost. So yeah, it was quite depressing. It's not the answer you want.
Thank you for joining me for the Radio Times Writers' Room. So this is an opportunity for us to get to know about some of your past projects, about some of the ways you work, and obviously talk about The Assassin, your brilliant new thriller on Prime Video. First off, I suppose, when did you first write together? Did you write together as children? Like when did you first start?
We had a band. That's writing together, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so then, I would say, when we were 12.
We had a band.
Yeah.
We tried writing a book together.
Yeah.
That was too long. And then we wrote...
The book or the process?
Both. Then we wrote separately in our 20s, and then I wrote a sitcom for the BBC, and Dawn French was attached, wasn't she?
She was.
And she said, oh, it needs to be funny. And I went, oh, great, I know who's funny. This guy. So I got him involved. We rewrote the script. He brought it back to us, sat down, and she said... I've got one word of advice for you. Never work with your brother again. Not one word for a start. And also unhelpful. But so there you are. That was when we started. It did not put us off, did it?
And then I started writing a show about a failed relationship, and then we did that one together, and then we did comedy for...
I took advantage of your pain for my...
7 years,
that
yeah.
became Roman's Empire.
Comedy was a strong word for what we attempted to do.
That did very poorly. But we weren't deterred by Dawn French or the poor performance of
no, we weren't.
Our first sitcom. And we persisted, despite massive indifference, in the face of everyone going, why do you do this? So, yeah, you may wonder why. I don't know why.
No.
But here we are.
Well, speaking of
That was
Roman's
longer
Empire,
than you wanted, wasn't it?
It wasn't even answering the question.
No.
Speaking of Roman's Empire, obviously when that first came, what was that like seeing your first work come out on screen, even before you got sort of, any reaction or anything?
Mixed feelings. Well, if it had looked better, I would have been much happier, I think. It wasn't sort of what we had in mind, I think. In script form, it was a very different product, what we set out to do. So it was, but I think we were very optimistic then, because I was like 25, so I think I convinced myself it was great.
We knew it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. So yeah, it was quite depressing. It's not the answer you want.
That's fine. Honestly.
I remember going to set with my wife and her, thinking, oh, this is going to be really exciting. And I was made to stand like so far away. And she's going, do they know who you are? It's like, they know who you are. They just don't care.
Yeah.
And I had to stand miles away with these special shoes on. I couldn't see anything. And that's probably for the best.
But it was a really helpful experience because it sort of taught us everything one should not do when making a TV show.
What were some of those learnings?
Just in terms of production and communication with the director, and just managing the just the overall product and what you set out to do, and not getting too far away from that. And very often, I think when we started out, writers were very much kept separate from the process, and that's sort of the most dangerous thing, especially in a comedy when it's about a voice and a sort of sense of humour and a tone. So if you don't have a dialogue with the production, then you're going to miss all of those things. So certainly when we came to produce a lot of comedy, our thing was let the talent run the thing, like Phoebe or Daisy. They just it's their show and it's their voice, and it's our job to kind of execute that vision and not get in the way of it.
And make sure everyone understands they're making the same thing, which quite often you get halfway through a project and you realise everyone has a totally different idea of what it is you're doing.
Yeah, completely.
And it's happened to us subsequently. Still, sometimes it happens. And it happened on Rellik, remember?
Yeah, someone comes in and so everyone's going to wear hats. And you're like, what the fuck? Why would everyone wear hats? They come in these weird ideas that they think.
We made a show called Rellik a while ago. It's like a thriller told backwards. And on the day of the read-through, the director, again, turned to Harry and went, what I love most about this show is that it's all in their heads. And we were like, What? No, it's not. So, and that was the read-through. They were filming in a week. So at that point, and it happens all the time. You really need to talk a lot to make sure people are on the same page about what we're all trying to do.
And making the same thing, even if to explain a very obvious, what you think is a very obvious thing. It was learning that. Like, by the way, this is sarcasm, and
you mentioned that you started out mostly in comedy. Was that something sort of a purposeful decision? Was that just what you felt like writing at the time? What sort of led to you picking that genre?
I think we thought we were funny, and it turned out we weren't, because we tried that for several years. I'd done acting comedy and sketch comedy, and Jack had done the same. He'd done the Oxford Review and some stand-up. So we thought we were funny. But it was interesting.
It was a thing. It was the time of our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
And in terms of your writing process, do you always write together in a room? Do you sort of split off and do different bits? How do you...
So we sort of... once we come up with the show and the idea and the premise, we'll just talk for ages about the characters and various things that could happen, scenes that we see, or locations, or actors, or all the elements, and then start talking about the story and how it would go, and kind of plot it out together. We do all of that together, and then once it's plotted, we divide it up, go and write it separately, and then swap, which is great. It's half the time.
And do you ever argue? Do you disagree about things?
We disagree for sure, but you sort of have to. Do you know? I think you sort of have to get it. And also, we're related, so it's sort of easier to be a bit more blunt about things and have a sort of shorthand and know what the other one's thinking. It's pretty quick and obvious what we're thinking at any given time, isn't it?
Yeah, and disagreeing is only ever because you want it to be better, and it's never any worse. You know, if you're lucky enough for the show to come out, a lot of people have a lot more to say in it. It's a lot harsher than anything we could say to each other, so you might as well get used to it now. So to be challenged and go, could that be more interesting? I don't really believe that. These are things you're going to get asked anyway, so it's never particularly difficult to have someone go, oh, I sort of thought this would be different somehow. It's just challenging it to make it better, isn't it? It's part of that process, really.
And you get instant feedback, but you're instantly challenged, and you're instantly forced to kind of up your game and make... So the thing just instantly gets a lot better, and I think it's just, if you have no ego and you're open about whatever it could be, then the show, which is the important thing, just ultimately gets a lot better.
And so The Missing, that was your first thriller, wasn't it? Did it instantly feel like you'd sort of happened upon something when you sort of when you dug into that? Did you know that thriller would be the genre you'd operate in?
No, we sort of did it because we were like, well, we can't really do comedy anymore because no one wants them.
We hadn't worked for about 9 months.
Yeah, and so it was like, well, let's try something completely different and do something with zero jokes, because paedophile shows shouldn't really have jokes.
Not usually.
No.
And when we finished it, we sent it to our agent and said, if this is really embarrassing, don't tell anyone, just don't show it to anyone. It felt like writing teenage poetry. We're just like, because it's really serious and emotional, and we felt fucking stupid. Sorry, can I say that? We felt, okay, stupid. We thought it was good. We liked it. We felt really strongly that it was really good, but we didn't know.
It was very emotional. It was very, very serious, and lots of speeches and dark moments and sort of shit we hadn't done before. So yeah, as you say, it felt like sort of showing someone your diary or something embarrassing.
But fortunately, he liked it. And other people liked it.
Yes,
that was good.
Well, in terms of the reaction, obviously it was, huge. Has there ever been a reaction you weren't expecting to a show? Has there been a show that's come out and you were like, I didn't think people would think about it that way?
I think because reactions are always so mixed, you always get the range of everything. And I don't think we ever expect anything to do well, or be a massive hit. So I'd never go as far as to go, oh, that show, why wasn't that more successful? Or why was that panned? I don't know. I
didn't think Missing would do as well as it did.
No, I didn't.
Because we hadn't had any success in any way before then. But then it was so like, when you look at the thing and there's a Golden Globe, you're like, and that's your first thing. That was completely unexpected in a wonderful way.
The successes are the surprising bit, aren't they? That and Tourist and Fleabag. These are ones that you get surprised by because you don't expect them to be.
To go that kind of, you really feel it because it's sort of everywhere you go with cab drivers and parents at school gates and things like that. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of...
When it goes badly and they all hate you and give you 1 star and no one watches it, you're like, yeah. You feel like conditioned to expect that response. That's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's when it goes
and
wrong.
actually everyone just goes really quiet.
Yeah, no one tells you. If you have to ask.
Yeah.
If you have to ask how it didn't do very well.
Yeah.
If something goes well, you'll find out. People tell you.
And was the transition from The Missing to Baptiste a long discussion? Did you know you were going to go in that direction, or did you think there might be a Missing 3 there? Or
Well, it was an odd one because we sort of had, we wanted to keep working with Tchéky, and actually I think we didn't really have the idea for Missing 3, and it was sort of more like, got a show with him just being a detective. That's such a simple proposition, and we've established this character, and we love the world and him. So it's just sort of the next logical step at that time. I think weirdly, if there had been a Missing 3, it might not have had Tchéky in it. It would have been, because to have two constructs where they're two different time frames, it's like, how many times has this guy fucked up and has to return 15 years
also,
later?
he's had a brain tumour, legs. Like, what next? He's going to like go colourblind. He'll like lose his sense of smell. It always felt a bit like
it would all get a bit contrived. So it felt like the natural progression to sort of take him on his own journey.
And Missing 2 was so hard and so difficult that the thought of doing a story like that again would just filled us with fear and horror. So we didn't.
Could you ever see yourselves returning to that world?
To Missing?
Yeah.
We talk about it sometimes.
We talk about it, yeah. We still talk to Tchéky a lot. So yeah, it's sort of never say never, I think.
We've come close.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. We've never quite cracked the thing. And then the longer it goes, the more you go, you don't want to, we feel like the second one could have gone horribly wrong, and the fact that people liked it and it went well was such a relief. You don't want to you don't want to come back and for the victory lap and find everyone throwing shit at you.
Why don't they bring that guy back?
Yeah. So that always puts us off, but we definitely haven't ruled it out. We have talked about it over the years, so it's not something that's far from our minds, but no, there's no plans in the near future.
So then you set up Two Brothers in 2014. What was the sort of thinking behind that, and how have you taken to that new role, that new way of working, I suppose?
Well, yeah, I mean, we officially set it up then, and we'd been developing stuff as we were doing The Missing. So we were developing Fleabag as we were doing The Missing, because we were in that state where we were like, well, if we can't be writers, we should become producers. So it's sort of trying to find another job in the industry. So yeah, it was always sort of there to do what we couldn't do in comedy, which is we started out just making the comedies to make them properly and give them the production values that we thought they deserved, which they don't always get necessarily because the budgets are smaller. And
some of the experiences we'd had early in our careers with, making shows and not always feeling like the writers was being listened to and the voice was carrying through, and difficult production discussions made us think if we do it ourselves, at least we can only blame ourselves, because sometimes we do things and the show didn't do well, and we felt we've done many shows that didn't do well and they were our fault, and we'll hold our hands up to them, but early in our careers we definitely felt there were ones that would have been better if we'd had a chance, or at least if it had failed, I'd rather it failed because we fucked up, not because someone else made us. So it was partly us going, can we be the masters of our own destiny? I never said that to you before. Do you know that?
Okay.
Do you like that?
No.
Okay.
And then you've mentioned it a couple of times, Fleabag obviously was a phenomenon. At what point did you know what that show would be? Did you get a sense of how successful it would become?
I think, again, you never have any... we thought it was really good. I mean, when we first met Phoebe, she'd written a 3-page monologue that was just the funniest thing we'd ever read, and we met her in a pub and said, you should write something. She went, yeah. I mean, it was very half-assed, the entire thing. But we just thought she was brilliant, and then... we were cooking up she was cooking up the idea of the show and couldn't really get anyone interested in, frankly, early on. And then she got so frustrated waiting around that she turned it into a play that obviously did fantastically well because she's very talented.
And we luckily had the rights because we had optioned this thing ages ago, which ordinarily big tool where whoever would have swooped in and it would have been made by actual grown-ups who knew what they were doing.
But we'd already been developing it with her. She just got frustrated and written a play as well.
So it was a really lucky
And
thing.
even then, after the play, then we went and developed it with the BBC, and then the script was unusual. It doesn't look like it at the time, but at the time it was a very unusual sort of kind of a half hour. And I can say it's kind of the note we kept getting was, can't she just have like a boyfriend of the week?
I don't think that's the show.
And I was like, I'm not giving her that note. You can. And even when we did make it, we had to spend our own money on the pilot because it was weird and people didn't think. But we just thought it was really, really good, and it was really good because she's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's the only thing we did.
It was one of those things where you're like, no one knows it's going to be a massive thing until suddenly you're like, oh wow, it's fucking huge and everywhere. which is wonderful.
And was there on you guys or on Phoebe? Did you feel much pressure to continue it beyond its natural span of the 2 years? Was there?
No, I think she always had a pretty clear idea of how much she wanted to do, and we were like, just do whatever you want. Like, I think that's our general. I think as we do our own writing, we're not especially like, well, you have to do that or manage people. I think our worst, we hated being managed or told, you really need to do this. You're like, what the fuck do you know? You've never written anything in your life. Half the time, a lot of people, there are a lot of great producers out there, but equally there are a lot of people who do try and kind of manage you, and we actively go, it's your thing.
We sort of said not to be scared of a second series, and it doesn't, you should explore it, and if you at any point decide you don't want to do it, that's also fine. But it's really good, and it sounds like you've got some amazing ideas, so maybe see what happens. But yeah, it was always up to her, really. We didn't do much. And
then, so if we come to The Tourist, did you always have Jamie in mind for that role, and do you write shows with actors in mind?
We did, and it took some time to get there just for boring logistical reasons. We do often have actors in mind. We try not to, but you can't help it. Not always. Sometimes you get too attached to it, and then they're not around, or they don't like it, which is fair. But yeah, we do often, don't we?
Yeah, well, I think we work with a lot of the same people quite a lot, so they recur because we're like, they'd be great in this. Let's write them apart, and you know exactly what you're doing when you get introduced to that character and what they're going to give you. So Darian, that we'd had him in Missing 2 and had him in loads of stuff, and Widow as well, although that was after. No, it was before.
Daddy Olafsson.
Yeah.
He was in Missing 2 first, wasn't he?
Yeah, Missing 2, Widow, and Tourist.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of we write to try, we've got like a little stable of people who keep coming back, or Daisy, who just love having back, really.
And is there any update on the potential for a third season of The Tourist?
Oh, again, Jamie's great, and we loved doing it. I think it'd be tough. We don't have an idea.
No,
we've never gone. I think if he came to us and said, "I'm desperate to do one," we'd have a go.
Yeah.
We'd have a think, because it would be really fun.
Yeah.
We'd have to make sure it was good and not.
Yeah.
But we don't. I don't think it'd be something we go out and try and.
It's difficult with a thing like that because he's lost his memory, he's forgotten his thing, and there's only so many times. Like as the jumping off point for a 3-season arc, you're like, that's quite a long way to. He knows who he is by season 3, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the end of 2, they kind of both did. They'd found. They'd reached an end point.
There is the end of 2, that sort of thing in the fire, the file in the fire, and what did he do before. But for us, that's more like a fun grace note that all along he was actually this thing.
And he never gets to know. I kind of prefer, if you actually see the third version of that, I think it's probably...
It turns into everything else. Then it's a bit boring. Then he was like a spy, and he did have all these skills, and we've seen that. We always said...
He didn't demonstrate any skills.
Well, the one thing he did, the joke we had, which had in series 1, we found out in series 2. Yeah, we said, how people lose their memory. It's always like they actually great at, Gina Davis in The Longest Goodnight, or Matt Damon Born. They got skills, and they didn't know, but we were like, what if the only thing he knew how to do was be really good at dancing? And that's really made us laugh. I don't think it made anyone else laugh, but we liked it. And which is why series 2 ends with him dancing really fucking well. It might be why no one watched it, but there you are. It amused us. So we'd try, because he's brilliant, and we love the cast of that show, and she's brilliant, and it was just so much fun to do.
And then if we look at Boat's story, you directed a couple of episodes of that, didn't you? Is that something it's given you a taste to do more of? Would you be interested in?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're writing a film that I think we'd like to direct at the moment, and that's something we've sort of always talked about doing and never got around to because we've been so busy the last 10 years. But we finally put a bit of time into writing that with a view to doing that, assuming anyone wants to give us money to make it.
Oh,
yes. It's fucking hard. It's really hard work. You have to get up really early. I'm not sure about that.
You have to talk to so many people.
Yeah.
Like, so many people. Wherever you go, someone's following with a question about this and that. And about these shoes, about that hat. And we can't go over that. Oh, my God.
So we'd just hide in...
We'd quite often hide.
Hide in our car, eating food and not talking to each other.
On the week 1, they were like, do you want to have your lunch in your car? We're like, who does that? By week 4, we were having lunch in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get a break from all the questions. That said, the casting on that was great on both. Yeah. They were lovely. But it's just tiring. So it was satisfying, and we enjoyed having done it.
Yeah, for sure. It's just
Because
very hard work.
It's really, yeah.
It was a newfound respect for directing
Oh, man.
and all that it entails.
Definitely. So we would, but yeah, we needed a break. The right thing at the right time, we would, for sure. If anyone let us, in fact.
Well, mentioning a film was going to be one of my questions. Would you be interested in moving into feature films? What's the sort of been the process towards that? Have you been thinking about making a film for a while? Is that...
Yeah, we wrote while we were doing the comedy. We wrote a script for, I can't remember who it was, but it was
That 1 year ago. Lionsgate, wasn't it?
Lionsgate, yeah, and that was like nearly 12 years ago.
That was worth meeting, didn't we? That guy.
It was awful. Yeah.
Guys, they just spitball and throw things at the wall. I was like, what? Like they didn't talk about the script at all.
No.
So annoying.
Riffing.
Like, yeah, let's riff on the script. You mean let's just chuck it out and listen to your shit ideas?
Yeah.
It was so depressing.
So
put
it's
us
something
off.
we talked about it for ages and always sort of had ideas and gone, we should do that, but then end up writing 6 hours each time and doing a lot of them. But we've carved out some time recently, so we're just finishing one, which is...
But we're just writing it and then we'll try and get it financed. So it's not, no one's seen it, no one heard about it, we haven't cast it, we haven't done. So it's just two guys in a room going, yeah, this is good.
That's not the film, by the way.
By the way, that could be our long-running series.
Yeah.
Cheap, it's affordable. Yeah.
So if we turn to The Assassin, right here, how long have you been thinking about the idea for this show? What was the entry point for you?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote the script not long after Tourist, and it just took a long time to get made. And we'd wanted to write a mother-son dynamic for a while. It seemed funny that and interesting that there's strange. It's not something you see a lot of in drama, or if you do, it's all very tortured and very straight-laced. As a sort of central pairing, it didn't seem like we'd seen many. Shows with this kind of tone that had that at the heart of it.
Yeah,
and I felt interesting.
normally the emotionally cut-off parent would be a dad, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's really a mum and the son. So that felt instantly like an interesting thing. And then having that kind of private livesy back and forward dialogue, being horrible to someone, but also those two people really love each other was hugely appealing to us because it just has huge potential for comedy, and people who are mean to each other is always funny. And then throw that in the middle of a bunch of dead bodies. I think that was the sort of...
It's the gumbo.
That was the gumbo that we put together.
And right from the first moments, I've only seen the first couple of episodes, but there's some phenomenal action sequences in this. How have you come to write action sequences? Is that something that came naturally to you when you first did it, and what's the sort of process there?
I think the action sequence of this got better for our experience on Boat Story.
Yeah.
I think doing it on that show taught... We used to write action and sort of be like, they run around and leave it to director to find the location and get a good stunt person. But I think we've definitely learned that to write the perspective of the action... If you have 200 million and 10 cameras, go nuts. Like, you'll do the most. But you can't compete with that on any television budget.
Yeah, even then you've sort of seen it all before.
You've seen it all
It's just
before.
lots of crashes and stuff. So, and Boat Story is like we had the shootout in the police station, and everyone around us was like, what are you doing? Like, because the guy with the mask is walking through the thing, and in the background, loads of people are shooting guns and flying through the air, and there's blood and lights falling.
But it's all like soft focus.
It's all in the background, and they're like, "Do you not want to be in the guys? You really want to be in the room?
You're spending all this money on extras, stunt coordinators, and you're filming it like in out of focus in the
You're
background.
filming a guy who's lost, who's looking at a map." And we're like, "That's the appeal." You're like, "That's the story." It's a guy who's lost, and the joke is there's blood everywhere flying through behind him, and he's like going that way or that way. So it's like, as long as every action sequence has a POV or has some unique selling point or something that you can hook onto and go, oh, that's the story of this one, then it's worth telling, and it'll stand a chance of being vaguely memorable.
Yeah, I mean, our director on The Missing did that car chase in The Missing 1, which is all sort of one shot in the car with him. Was it meant to be 4 days, and they closed down loads of roads, and we didn't have the money, so all in the car following this, and it was brilliant for it. Just by the limitation, made it better because you felt much more tension as a result. So yeah, learning to write to the character and what their experience of the action is felt more interesting to us than just blowing shit up.
And obviously, you don't want to spoil anything about where the season might be going, but is this sort of a one and done thing, or could there be potential for more? Or does it end in
10 seasons?
Oh.
10 seasons.
No, it's
Gloves,
got
The
it's got a definite ending. Like
Yeah.
like Missing or Tourist definitely had a sort of this. That's the end of this series, and it could end there, and hopefully that would be a satisfying way to go out. This one very much you're like you could. I'd like to, do more with Keeley and Freddie just because it was so enjoyable and they're so good together.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a world where it is, but equally it could totally end here and we'd be fine with it.
Yeah, it's very satisfying as it is.
Yeah.
And how did this cast come together? Did you always have these two in mind? Was that a process finding them?
Honestly, it took so long. This was so hard.
It was. We spoke to Freddie a while back and
Yeah.
kept it, and that was great. And Keeley was took a while because it was set in Australia for a little bit because of tax reasons. It started in Greece, then went to Australia, then went back to Greece, and then it was like, oh, actually, I think we can make it work with Keeley now. So, and then Shalom, who was in tourist, so the people like that we had in mind.
And
already.
she was busy too, and finding time
Yeah,
to shoot
so
with
it was-
her was really difficult.
Mm.
So yeah, we were quicker settled on the cast than it took to actually lock that into place, just for the most boring logistical reasons that took a really long
But
time.
they're great. Loads of surprises like Alan Dale, Jim from Neighbours.
Jim from Neighbours.
Gina Gershon, like we were like, oh,
Not in Neighbours.
Not in Neighbours.
No.
uh,
She's great.
yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, cast is really good.